Hello?
Hello, everybody.
Can you hear me, John?
I hear you.
Yeah?
We're ready up there, John?
Power, Mr. Chief Executive.
Okay, we'll get started here. I'm going to call the Butte-Silver Bowl Council of Commissioners a regular meeting for Wednesday, November 4th, 2020 to order. We have roll call, please.
Negative, we have 11 present, 1 absent. Commissioner Anderson is excused.
John, your mic.
What's that?
We can hardly hear you, John.
Mr. Chief Executive, we have 11 present, 1 absent. Bill Anderson is not in attendance.
Okay.
Looks like Commissioner Shaw, you're having connectivity issues.
Still can't hear you, John, very well.
You're not coming.
I can't hear you either.
Screaming. I heard that.
Okay, next we'll have the prayer. Commissioner McDonough, would you please lead us in the prayer?
Almighty God, we implore you, look upon us and guide us this night as we make decisions that so greatly affect our community of Butte-Silver Bow. Direct our thoughts, words, and deeds so that we please you and best serve our fellow citizens. Amen.
Thank you. Next, we'll go for the approval of the minutes of the October 21st, 2020 regular meeting. Minutes.
Mr. Chief
Commissioner
Executive,
Morgan.
can you hear me now?
No. You're really low.
How about now, Mr. Chief Executive?
That's good. Perfect. Thank you.
Good. Okay. Mr. Chief Executive, I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes of the October 21st regular meeting minutes.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to approve the October 21st, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Is there anything on the question? Will everyone please vote? Anyone wishing to change their vote? Will the clerk?
I think we have some ghosts left over from Halloween up there.
Mr. Chief Executive, looks like we're missing just 1 vote. If not, I'll ask Commissioner McDonough as a yay. Jason, you want to just tell me who it is?
It's 11 yes, motion carries. Next, we do not have any items not addressed on the agenda. Under Chief Executive's report, I would like to start with a moment of silence for Pat Reardon. Pat was a longtime courthouse employee and we all knew him, and I'd like to ask for a moment of silence, please. Thank you. I'd like to congratulate all the winners of yesterday's election in Butte-Silver Bow, and I also want to thank all the other ones that were non-winners, because it takes a lot of courage to even apply for the position in the first place. So I'd just like to give everyone a round of thanks for at least trying and keep up the work. Don't be afraid to try it again in the future. I'm not going to heed my own advice there, so don't worry. Next, we'll go to public comment on any items on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I do have one to read into the record, and I'll look at the phones right now to see if anybody's there. Doesn't look like anybody is, so I'm just going to read this one. This one is public comment on any items on the agenda. R. Edward Banderob, 2601 Grand Avenue, Butte, Montana. Reference item number 17, Communication 2020-463, requesting council of commissioners to discuss the status, roles, responsibilities, and liabilities of the Silver Bow County government relative to control of the coronavirus pandemic in our community. Note and place on file. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, you did nothing in March when I submitted the request, and now where are we at? We have done over the last 8 months, and what we are doing now is obviously not working to control the spread of this virus. Are you going to do nothing again? This is no longer just a health emergency. This is a governmental crisis, an economical crisis, an educational crisis, a communal social crisis, a spiritual crisis, a familiar crisis, and a personal crisis. This COVID-19 virus and the next coronavirus that comes down the pike are controlled by a holistic community-wide endeavor without the disastrous economic consequences as demonstrated by the 8 Far Eastern Asian nations whose average deaths per 100,000 populations is 0.5, as compared to the 69.59 for the USA and about 33.51 Montana deaths per 1,000 K population. Did you even know that these Far Eastern Asian nations are doing to control the virus? Do you even know what Gunnison, Colorado did to avoid the Spanish flu completely? Did you even care about what more could be done, what more local legal actions might be needed to control this virus? I submitted a request to the Butte-Silver Bow Health Department asking them to activate the BSB Health Studies Advisory Committee in hopes that the committee would find out what needs to be done over and above what is being done now, and they could advise the BSB United Health Command Subcommittee. What we are doing now is obviously not working. We've been told it is going to be most of a year before a treatment and vaccine is readily available for the strain of this COVID-19 virus. Then there is the next strain and the next coronavirus. Are you going to sit and continue to do nothing until herd immunity occurs? It will take about 90% of the population to be infected, with about 1% to 3% of the population being killed before that happens for this COVID-19 strain. Do the math, 90% of the 34,993 BSB populations is about 31,493 times 1% to 3% equals about needlessly killed. Again, I've submitted this communication for your consideration and action. Again, R. Edward Banderup, 2601 Grand Avenue. Mr. Chief Executive, that's the only comments that I have to read into tonight's record, and there's nobody on the phone.
Okay, well, thank you. Then we'll move on to the consent agenda, A 1 through 4, the committee reports, and B, communications 1 through 21. Do we have any friendly amendments or segregations? Commissioner Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I would like to segregate item number 2, Communication 2020-448.
Okay. Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Palmer. I would like to segregate number 17, 2020-463, and also number 21, 2020-467. Thank you.
Okay. Any other segregations? Commissioner Frederickson.
Thank you, Chief Executive Palmer. I actually don't have a segregation, but I wanted to make a comment. And I know this probably isn't the proper avenue, but last week I realized I referred to Commissioner Shaw as Chairman Shaw, not once, but twice. So I want to apologize to her for that. And I meant no disrespect. I'm sure I'm not the first person to do that, but hopefully it won't happen again. It was a slip.
That's okay.
We all make mistakes. Okay, any other segregations? Friendly amendments? Seeing none. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. At this time, I would make a motion that we approve Section 1, the consent agenda, A, the committee reports 1 through 4, B, communications 1 through 21, with the exclusions of number 2, 2020-448, number 17, 2020-463, and number 21, 2020-467.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion made and seconded to concur in the consent agenda A1 through 4 and B1 through 21, exclusive of number 2, or B2, B17, and B21. Is there anything on the question? Will everyone please vote? Anyone wishing to change their vote? Will the clerk please record the vote? We may be short one vote.
Looks like we need a vote from Commissioner Callahan. Commissioner Callahan, was that a thumbs up? So, Mr. Chief Executive, we have 11 yay and 0 nay.
Okay, motion carries. Next, we'll go to communication number 2, 2020-448. JP Gallagher, Park and Recreation Director, requesting Council of Commissioners concurrence and authorization for the Chief Executive to sign an agreement between Butte-Silver County Government and Butte La Crosse for 10 years with an annual review. The terms of this agreement start November 4th, 2020 through November 4th, 2030, 10 years. Commissioner Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I just had a couple of questions, and I will admit that I don't know a lot about La Crosse, but I see JP's on. First of all, the terms, I didn't know that we did contracts over 5 years at a time, but maybe this is a renewal after 5 years. It does say a 10-year contract. And then my second question was, do they have to change anything in the field to accommodate the sport? I believe they just use a field. I think that's how La Crosse works, but just maybe you could give me a little education, JP, if that's possible. Thanks.
JP, are you on there?
Yeah, I'm on here. Chief Executive Palmer, Commissioner Shaw. So this is an agreement with the La Crosse. They've been playing lacrosse up at West Elementary School on Dornblazer Field up there for the last, I think, 6 years now. And the field dimensions don't fit well for them. They've been looking for a home to play on. So we looked at the dimensions of our fields up there where little guy football plays, and they're able to put their field out there, have more of a home with bathroom facilities and different amenities there. It's much like the agreements that we have with all of our Little League and other youth sports. Really, it doesn't require much. We're asking, we're moving to put $5 player fees on every year, just to have a little bit of maintenance that comes with it. But really, we don't have to do anything to the field itself. So to answer that question, there's nothing we have to do. They're going to take care of the painting of the stripes in the field and everything. We'll take care of mowing, which really won't be much because they're going to play in the spring. So we won't really have a lot of growth or anything at that time. They play in kind of a tough time of the year, to tell you the truth. A lot of snow and cold weather, especially up at Copper Mountain, but it gives them a home to play at and facilities to have and parking lot for people to come and do that. As far as the 10-year agreement, it was my understanding, and we were moving towards that to 5 and 10 years with annual reviews. We look at it every year and we review it, make sure that it still fits the needs of it. And so it's just an extended contract, much like the 5, but it was kind of, some of these were starting to get put into place with EJ Ellington ahead of time. And so that's where we followed kind of suit with that, to just have extended contracts that we review every year. So you don't have to revise them all the time. We could, with agreement between the parties, we don't have to bring it forth to the commissioners every year, because it's not really a contract that requires much maintenance towards it.
Any further questions, Commissioner Shaw?
Thank you. My computer just locked up on me, so I missed the last couple words. If that's okay, JP, thank you for your response. I just wanted to make sure that, I don't know that we have anything carved in stone as far as a limit of a contract, as far as how long it's good for. So you're saying that that's, you can do that. You can, extend it to 10 years as long as there's an annual update. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any further questions for JP, or would you like to make a motion, Commissioner Shaw?
I can do that. Thank you. I would move to concur with communication 2020-448 and place this on file.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to concur in the request in communication 2020-448 and place the communication on file. Is there anything on the question? Seeing none, will everyone please vote? Anyone wishing to change their vote? Will the clerk please record the vote?
Mr. Chief Executive, we have 11 yeas, 0 nay.
Motion carries. Next, we will go to communication number 17. Is communication 2020-463. Ed Vanderhoff, Butte, Montana, requesting Council of Commissioners to discuss the status, roles, responsibilities, and liabilities of the Butte-Silver City County government relative to control of coronavirus pandemic in our community. Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Palmer. I just wanted to respond to the letter Chairman Morgan read at the beginning of our meeting here. With all due respect to Mr. Vanderhoff, I feel our health department's doing an exceptional job following whatever he thinks the roles, responsibilities, and liabilities might be, but we have the legislative branch of government. I don't know how much we got to do with the roles, responsibilities, and liabilities. I mean, the liabilities, I don't know where the liabilities stand. I mean, as far as we're concerned, I think your direction, Chief Executive Palmer, and the direction of Karen Sullivan down at the Health Department, and the coordination between community health and the hospital here, I really think we're doing an exceptional job, and it's something that I don't think we're going to just be able to make an ordinance or do something different to curtail what's happening. I mean, I've got friends and relatives that are going through the same thing as many people are, and you know, some people aren't getting it where they get real sick, and other young and old people are getting pretty sick. And I know we're having some, people being deceased over at the care unit over on Continental Drive. But I just don't know what more we can do. And if Mr. Vanderhoff thinks there's something we can do, I'm open to suggestions. But being the legislative branch of government, I just don't see what more we can do. And I think under the direction of, as I said, Chief Executive Palmer and Karen Sullivan and some of the things going on in our community, I really think we're doing about all we can. So that's just my 2 cents worth. And I'm going to make a motion now, but I'd like everyone else to maybe weigh in if they had anything to say that might ease what we're going through. But to kind of say the commissioners could do more, here we're sitting in our front rooms doing meetings rather than up there where we'd rather do where we can visit face to face. It's not easy doing these meetings here either. So I would go along with Chairman Morgan's recommendation to note and place on file communication 2020-463 and be open for suggestions in the future. Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to note communication 2020-463 and place it on file. Is there any questions? Commissioner Shaw.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive, and thank you, Commissioner Fisher, for segregating this. I too read that. I have to say that I was a bit upset by the word that we are morally obligated to do something. You know, I felt that was a little bit of a bit harsh. Let's say that. I am on the Board of Health, and I can tell you that I believe, and being on the Board of Health, I'm on the inside, and I can see a lot of what we're doing. We're doing a lot. And every day we get messages from between the hospital and ourselves in relation to other counties. I can tell you that we are on the cutting edge of what can be done compared to anybody else, hands down in the county. We are on the cutting edge. We have Plan B in case we get more cases. I mean, we are ready. Unfortunately, we have to be ready for the worst, and that I believe we are. So I'm not sure what Ed thinks we can do. Again, like Commissioner Fisher said, we're the legislative branch. We really have no control over the administrative side. But I am a liaison because I am on the board. So I feel really confident that we're doing everything we can. It breaks our heart to see people passing away, especially at nursing homes. But this is an unknown. We don't have any real control over it, but we can control our preparation. I think we're spot on. So I just wanted to say that on the record. Thank you.
I would just like to add from the executive branch side of it, you know, every week on a Thursday afternoon, we meet with Karen Sullivan in the health department, and the sheriff and the fire marshal, and there's several department heads that do get together, and we discuss what's going on and what we can be doing different. And I too believe that the health department is doing a good job on taking care of this problem. I wish we all had a magic wand and we could wave it and the pandemic would go away, but that's not going to be the case until we come up with a vaccine or something to stop the spread of this. But I think we are doing everything possible, and if someone's got a suggestion, we're open to it. So we're all ears. Commissioner O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I definitely don't have the answers of what we should or shouldn't do, but I just hope we are doing enough, or just that our community realizes that we are on the uptick of it, and it's going to get worse before it gets better. So just hope that the businesses and everybody, you know, obviously the election was over today and the cure's not here. So I just hope that people are taking it as serious as possible. It was definitely a tough thing, and just wash your hands and wear your mask, I guess. I don't know. Please. Thanks. See ya.
Commissioner Shea.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I would just like to commend our health department for all the work that they've been doing and the partnerships that they've built with the hospital and community health center. The efforts that the community has taken following the directives under the governor, under our own health officer and the health officers around the state, those are the most important things that everybody can do, is follow those directives. I do believe that we as community leaders and representatives of our districts need to lead by example. And I always wear my mask, and I know you guys do too. And I would like to challenge everybody out there that's watching and listening to do the same. When you're out, wear a mask, keep your hands clean, don't touch your face, watch your distance between people. Those are the simple things that we can do to protect each other from transmitting disease from one person to another and inadvertently transmitting it to somebody who will not survive it, as we are seeing in the Continental Care Facility right now, which is breaking everybody's hearts. So there are things we can do to protect each other without any more involvement from the government, but it does depend on people taking responsibility for the directives that are already in place. So I would implore everybody that's out there to please, please, please do those things so we can keep our businesses open, so we can return our kids to their schools, so we can do all of the things that we all really want to get back to doing. We can't do it unless everybody does it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other commissioners? Commissioner McDonough.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I'd like to go on the record as commending your department and your efforts in the health department and our health community. I believe that we've been proactive, and I know that everybody on the council and in Butte-Silver government takes it very seriously, the health of our neighbors and our friends and the people we serve every day. It's heartbreaking to lose somebody in our community. However, I think the common sense amongst the voting public needs to be, or just amongst the general public, I guess, not the voting public, the general public needs to be, considered in the fact that there's only so much that the Butte-Silver government can do, and that personal choice needs to be weighed into this. So in regards to Mr. Vanderov's letter, I think that the Butte-Silver Bow government has gone above and beyond our effort, and I hope that we continue to do so to serve the people of the community, but we can't babysit or watch those that choose not to social distance or to gather in large gatherings. It's tough to enforce. We're trying our best, but a commissioner and a chief executive and a health officer and somebody that works at St. James Community is doing all that they can and then some to make sure that our public is safe. And for someone to suggest that we're not is it's heartbreaking too. I mean, I think it's just a disservice to this government to hear people say that we're not out there trying to protect them. So again, I'll take exception with Mr. Vanderov's letter that it's the responsibility of the Council of Commissioners to make sure that everybody in Butte-Silver Bow is doing the right thing at this time.
Thank you. Any other commissioners have any comments?
Stan Olson, my video camera's out, but I just wanted to say that I concur with everything that everyone said. I think Butte-Silver Bow government is doing as much as we can, other than getting the Gestapo out and locking everybody in their house. I don't know that there's much more that we can do. I believe that we're doing the scientifically and medically approved approach to this, and it's really up to people and themselves. Watch for folks that don't have masks, and they're the ones that could be spreading this or not enforcing the social distancing for themselves. So I concur. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments? If not, we will go to the motion, which was to note communication 2020-463 and place it on file. Will everyone please vote? Anyone wishing to change their vote? Will the clerk please record the vote? Like 11 yea and 0 nay, motion carries. Next, we'll go to communication number 21, 2020-467. Karen Burns, Community Development Director, requested Council of Commissioners concurrence and authorization for the Chief Executive to enter into a professional service agreement with DHM Design to complete a master plan for Uptown Butte. Commissioner Fisher.
Thank you, Chief Executive Palmer. I really have no qualms with this. I do have some questions. When you look at the scope of service and, the amount of $185,000, and I realize it's probably grant money or, coming to it. So when you read through it all, there's a lot of things on there that through the past 7 or 8 years, we've done, like Task 2C building inventory. Since I've been on the commission, I think we've done 2 or 3 building inventories in town. Zoning land use review. Our planning and zoning has been doing quite a bit of that lately. And I have no problem with any of this, as I say. What I would like to do is I would like to maybe hold this in abeyance to the committee of the whole and have Ms. Burns come and maybe explain a little bit of this to us, because this is kind of new to me, and it seems that the URA board or whoever has approved it, and they've got a lot of information on it. And one of the URA members I tried contacting, he didn't get hold of him today. I think it's probably a good idea, but I would just like to have a little more input on it about what we're going through here. I mean, it's a long study. It's going to last a year, and it's got parking, circulation studies, development. It's just got a lot of stuff on there. And I just think it'd be a good idea to maybe have Karen come and give us a little bit of what direction we're going with this, why we're doing, who, what, when, and where, maybe, and make it set a little easier for at least me to understand, because these meetings we're having now, we just don't have the personal contact or visiting with people out in the streets that we visit with. So I would like to make a motion to hold this in committee of the whole at this time. Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to hold communication number 2020-467 in the committee of the whole for a presentation by Karen Burns from the Community Development Department and the URA board. I just want to add that this study was recommended, it goes back to the Uptown meetings we had probably 3 years ago at least, and a committee got together to develop an Uptown master plan. And they met for the last couple of years on trying to come up with it went out for RFPs on a master plan study. And it's just been going on for about the last 3 years. And this is finally getting to the point where we can get something done. But I don't have a problem with holding in advance. I just wanted to explain that this has been in the works for about 3 years. So I think it's a good thing, but I have no problem with holding in advance, like I said. So we have a motion made and seconded. Is there anything else on the question? Seeing none, will everyone please vote? Anyone wishing to change their vote? Will the clerk please record the vote? 11 yea and 0 nay, motion carries. Next, we'll go to section 2, ordinances and resolutions.
Mr. Chief Executive,
Commissioner Frederickson.
McDonough, sorry.
Oh. Commissioner.
Sorry to interrupt, but my computer was filtering when we were segregating and not working. But can we get a friendly amendment on communication 5? The caption doesn't seem to. It's an adjacent landowner policy, and one property is on Montana Street and the other one's on Main Street. I don't know if.
Commissioner McDonough, I noticed that too, and it's exactly what the letter says. I know how can you have a piece of property adjacent to Maine and Montana at the same time, but that's what.
So just for clarification, that will be referred to the land sales, and they will probably deny it because it's not adjoining, but I think they're going to scrutinize that at the time that it gets to the land sales.
Thank you.
Okay. So next, we're on section 2, ordinances and resolutions referred to judiciary. Resolution number 1, 2020-65, resolution 2020-70. Section 3, ordinances and resolutions, second reading. Number 1, Council Bill number 2020-06, ordinance 2020-06. It's an ordinance amending Chapter 32 of Title 13 of the Butte-Silver Municipal Code entitled Stormwater Management, specifically amending sections 13.32010, 13.32020, 13.32030, 13.32.210, 13.32220, 13.32310, 13.32330, 13.32340, 13.32360, 13.32420, 13.32430, and providing for an effective date herein. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to place Council Bill 2020-06, Ordinance 2020-06 on second reading and pass, having been deemed fully read at length.
Second.
Motion made and seconded to pass Council Bill 2020-06, Ordinance 2020-06 on second reading. Is there anything on the question? Will everyone please vote? Anyone wishing to change? Oh, it's not
1 second, Mr. Chief Executive. We're just waiting for the poll. The computer up here is frozen, Mr. Chief Executive. Oh, there we go.
Okay. Will everyone please vote? Anyone wishing to change their vote? Will the clerk please record the vote? With 11 yea and 0 nay, motion carries. Number 2, Council Bill 2020-07, Ordinance 2020-07. An ordinance amending Chapter 12.18 of the Butte-Silver Municipal Code entitled Street Maintenance, specifically amending sections 12.18, 030, and 12.18050 entitled Method of Assessment, changing the method of assessment for the city and county of Butte-Silver Single Street Maintenance District and providing for an effective date herein. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to place Council Bill 2020-07, ordinance number 2020-07 on second reading and pass, having been deemed fully read at length.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to pass Council Bill 2020-07, ordinance 2020-07 on second reading. Is there anything on the question? Will everyone please vote? Anyone wishing to change their vote? Will the clerk please record the vote? 11 yea and 0 nay, motion carries. Next is section 4, suspension of the rules for final passage for resolution 2020-71, 2020-72. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move for the suspension of the rules for the purpose of passing Council Resolution 2020-71 and 2020-72 by waiving subsection 7 of Rule 36 of the Rules and Order of the Council of Commissioners, thereby having it considered for advanced passage without reference to the Judiciary Committee.
Second.
We have a motion made and second to suspend the rules for the final passage of Council Resolution 2020-71 and 2020-72. Is there anything on the question? Will everyone please vote? Anyone wishing to change their vote? Will the clerk please record the vote?
Missing one, Mr. Chief Executive. Looks like Mr. Frederickson, we need a vote from you.
I don't think it came up on my screen, but yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. That's 11 yea and 0 nay. Motion carries. We'll go to resolution 2020-71. A resolution amending the budget during the fiscal year in accordance with section 7-6-4032 Montana Code annotated MCA, providing for an emergency budget appropriation, appropriating unanticipated revenue to the Butte-Silver Health Department from the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services, and providing for an effective date herein. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to place Council Resolution 2020-71 on final reading and pass, having been deemed fully read at length.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to pass Council Resolution 2020-71 on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Seeing none, will everyone please vote? Anyone wishing to change their vote? Will the clerk please record the vote? 11 yea and 0 nay, motion carries. Next, we'll go to resolution number 2020-72. A resolution authorizing and approving the sale of real property, formerly known as 24 East or West Mercury Street, owned by the city and county of Butte-Silver, state of Montana, described as Lot 16, 17, Block 53 of the Butte Town Site Edition, parcel number 2004350 to the city and county of Butte-Silver, Montana, to Adacid Capital Management Opportunity Zone Fund LLC in accordance with the provisions of the Butte-Silver Municipal Code and providing for an effective date herein. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Mr. Chief Executive. I move to place Resolution 2020-72 on final reading and pass, having been deemed fully read at length.
Second.
We have a motion made and seconded to pass Council Resolution 2020-72 on final reading. Is there anything on the question? Will everyone please vote? Anyone wishing to change their vote? Will the clerk please record the vote? We have 11 yea and 0 nay, motion carries. Next is time for a public comment on any public matter not on the agenda. Commissioner Morgan.
Mr. Chief Executive, I don't have anything to read. We'll check the phone lines. Josh, is there anybody on? Mr. Chief Executive, there does appear to be somebody on the phone. Thank you for calling the Butte-Silver Bow Council of Commissioners meeting. Please state your name and address for the record. Hello? Mr. Chief Executive, if we could just give it a minute, it looks like they were on and then they dropped.
Probably has something to do with the old rotary phone.
What is that thing? Just kidding.
You're not kidding, Chairman Morgan. You're young enough to know that you don't know what that is.
Looks like a torture machine there.
I'll bring one in so you can see what they look like, Mr. Morgan.
There are a few of us on the council that use them. Behave.
Mr. Chief Executive, it was Karen Burns that was on the phone. She said she hung up. She wanted to speak on the communication that Mr. Fisher had segregated earlier.
Okay. Well, I don't think there's, did she say if there was a hurry on this or no?
Mr. Chief Executive, she was just texting
Oh, okay.
that was her on the phone.
Okay. Any other calls there, Commissioner Morgan?
There is not, Mr. Chief Executive.
Okay. Call your attention to the calendar of other meetings and events. And Commissioner Morgan.
Mr. Chief Executive, I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second?
We have a motion made and seconded to adjourn. Is there anything on the question? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. See you.
Hey, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Be
Good night.
safe.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. Be safe.